Love is not something you acquire, chase, negotiate, or earn. Love is who you are when you remove everything that is not love. This is the central truth at the heart of The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, one of the most transformative works ever written about emotional healing, relationships, and inner freedom. Ruiz invites us to confront the invisible wounds, fears, agreements, and illusions that keep us suffering in love. His message is simple but profound. We do not suffer because love is hard. We suffer because we do not know how to love ourselves. The book begins with a core revelation. Every human walks through life carrying an emotional wound. This wound comes from years of criticism, comparison, rejection, punishment, societal conditioning, and unhealed childhood experiences. Over time, these wounds accumulate and form what Ruiz calls the parasite, a voice inside us that thrives on fear, drama, insecurity, jealousy, and emotional pain. The parasite whispers that we are not enough, not lovable, not worthy, and we believe it. This voice becomes the filter through which we experience relationships, turning love into suffering and connection into fear. Ruiz compares the emotional body to a physical body. If your skin were covered in open wounds, even a gentle touch would cause unbearable pain. The same is true emotionally. A small comment, a glance, a delay in a message, or a tone of voice becomes excruciating because it triggers the emotional wounds we have not healed. We assume the world hurts us, but in truth, we react from unhealed pain. One of the most powerful sections of the book is Ruiz's explanation of the magical kitchen. He uses a metaphor. Imagine you have a kitchen with unlimited food. Anyone can come to your home, you give freely, you share from abundance, and you never fear hunger. Now imagine someone arrives with a slice of pizza and says, "I'll give you this if you let me control your life." If your kitchen is full, you laugh. But if you are starving, you accept immediately, sacrificing freedom for crumbs. Ruiz explains that emotional starvation works the same way. When you do not love yourself, you beg for love from others, accept mistreatment, and tolerate conditions you would never agree to if you were full. But when your inner kitchen is abundant, when you love yourself, you do not need to negotiate for crumbs. You give freely, you receive freely, nothing can be used to manipulate you. Ruiz insists that self-love is not selfish or narcissistic. It is the foundation for every healthy relationship. When you love yourself, you stop seeking approval, stop taking things personally, stop falling into emotional games, and stop allowing others to define your worth. You shift from emotional poverty to emotional abundance. The book also confronts one of the biggest illusions about love, the belief that your partner is responsible for your happiness. Ruiz argues that two people in a relationship are two sovereign beings, two artists, two creators, walking side by side. But most people enter relationships expecting the other to heal their wounds, fill their emptiness, or fix their pain. This dependence inevitably turns to resentment. No one can carry the responsibility of another person's emotional survival. When each individual takes responsibility for their own happiness, love becomes easy, light, and joyful. A crucial teaching in the book is the idea that love is not an emotion. Love is a state of being. Emotions fluctuate, love does not. Love is the energy that flows naturally when fear is absent. Fear, Ruiz says, is the true opposite of love, not hate. Fear creates jealousy, insecurity, and control. Fear turns relationships into battles of possession. Fear destroys freedom, but love thrives in freedom. Love wants the other to be fully themselves. Fear wants the other to belong to you. Ruiz invites the reader to examine the agreements they have unconsciously made about love, agreements inherited from parents, culture, religion, movies, and society. Agreements like, real love must hurt. Jealousy is proof of love. People you love will abandon you. You must earn love by being perfect. These agreements create suffering because they are lies. The path to mastery begins by breaking these lies and replacing them with true agreements, agreements founded in love, presence, honesty, and freedom. One of the most beautiful teachings in the book is the idea that your partner is a mirror, not a solution. They reflect your beliefs, your wounds, your self-worth, and your capacity to love. When you react intensely to something your partner does, you are not reacting to them. You are reacting to the wound they touched. This is why relationships can feel so triggering. They expose the wounds we try to hide. But instead of blaming the partner, Ruiz teaches us to witness the wound with awareness, tenderness, and presence. Healing arises not through control or accusation but through consciousness. Another central theme is the deep importance of freedom. True love never demands sacrifice or self-betrayal. True love does not ask you to shrink, change, or abandon yourself. True love empowers growth. If someone needs to change who they are to be loved, that is not love, it is fear disguised as attachment. The book also addresses forgiveness, not as a moral obligation but as an act of liberation. Forgiveness dissolves the emotional poison we drink, hoping someone else will die. When you forgive, you are not excusing what happened, you are releasing yourself from the emotional grip of the past. Ruiz concludes with a powerful truth. Love is not something you learn, it is something you unlearn. You unlearn fear, wounds, false beliefs, assumptions, and unconscious agreements. When all of that falls away, what remains is the pure essence of who you are, love itself. The mastery of love is not about perfect relationships, it is about becoming a master of your own heart. A master of love does not fear rejection because self-love is unwavering. A master of love does not need validation because they already know their worth. A master of love gives without losing themselves and receives without fear. A master of love chooses freedom, presence, acceptance, and truth over emotional drama. Ultimately, the mastery of love is a guide for awakening. Awakening from fear, awakening from emotional pain, and awakening to the limitless capacity for love that already exists within you. When you stop living from wounds and start living from awareness, relationships transform from a battlefield into a playground for connection, joy, healing, and expansion. The message of the book is a spiritual invitation. Become the artist of your heart. Heal your wounds, rewrite your agreements, and return to the love you have always been.